businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and your wonderful coach, Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, folks, we're going to have an amazing show. Got a very special guest coming on the show today. She's going to teach us a whole lot of stuff about procurement and supply diversity. So we can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good conversation. And
So, co-host, tell me about your week, because I know you've got a pretty strenuous week. So tell me about
you know how my week is, man. I had to put a couple of my clients on check this week because one client, now you'll love this. One client decided that since I'm gonna be going on vacation at the end of August, that she needed to get in. So she was like, I'm gonna take 3 appointments in the first week. No, you're not.
Oh my Lord.
She was marking off the days. She was going through my link, just adding those days on. I'm like, nope, not that day. I said, you got a lot of work to do before you, in between each one of my meetings, you have a 1 whole year of transactions to get into your accounting software. You probably won't be seeing me until September. So I don't even know why you doing this.
It's amazing how clients think they can just control our calendars and be all over it.
Right, exactly. Like, no, that's not how this works.
Well, I'm glad you told them, co-host. I'm glad
Yeah,
you told
I
them.
think you have to get to a place where you have to be you in control of your business world, not them. So
For sure, for sure, for
yeah, but
sure.
other than that, pretty good. Yeah, Biz Camp is going on second week. This was the second week, so next week
Uh-huh.
is crunch week for them,
Yes.
and then of course I had some classes. Where'd you go?
I'm
And there
here.
you go. I had some classes and with the New Women's Business Center. So, my week is always sprinkled with all kinds of stuff all the
All
time.
kinds of blessings, right?
Right. How about yours?
Well, as usual, mine is a crazy one. I got that client down in Texas that, man, they've been making me work for my money, man.
Ah.
They've been doing all kinds of stuff that, outside of the lines of what's supposed to happen.
Are they coloring outside of the
Yeah,
lines?
they're going outside of the line, and I have to, make it my compliance duty to bring them back and remind them that they need to stay within the lines, man. Because I guess in Texas they don't follow rules, but here in Los Angeles we do. So we
Yeah.
have, we have that, and then there are a few other clients that I'm doing certifications for. I have this contract with Kiewit Infrastructure, so
Okay.
I'm doing about 26 different certifications for their small businesses. So yeah, and today I signed my teaming agreement with Amtrak, so I'm all excited.
Oh, well,
Thank you,
congratulations.
co-host. Thank you. That was a long time
Wow.
coming. So I'm going to be running their mentor protege program for them, and
Awesome.
that's supposed to be a 5-year gig. So I'm all excited.
Well, and as you should be, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
awesome. And especially since you've been working on it for 5 years.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So cool. Well, you'll be busy as we all are. Can't say that our marketing is not working.
That's what I'm saying, man. And I started looking at putting together that ebook for us. So
Oh, okay,
we're
okay.
putting
Oh,
up
you
our ebook
actually
out there on the marketplace, man. So
from the
hey, we're stepping up our game.
okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I love Biz Camp, but my that June and July and August is dedicated to the kids.
Yeah.
So I'm looking. I gotta have a break though. Brain is
Oh yeah.
brain is on the other side of almost fried,
Oh yeah.
because prior to Biz Camp, I worked extremely hard during tax season. So I am looking forward to a little break so I
You
can,
do need a break.
yeah, revitalize my brain cells.
I was bragging about you to someone yesterday. I don't even remember, man. I don't even remember what I had for dinner yesterday.
Okay, okay.
So I'm bragging about you to someone. I said, man, my co-host, she's all over the place, man. She went to Egypt, then she went to South Africa, then she came back. She went to London, England, and now she's getting ready to go to Egypt again. And
Yeah.
the person said, must be nice, huh? I said, man, I'm living vicariously through her because I can't go. So I let her do her thing.
Well,
And
well, you could go. You just choose not to go.
I don't want to get on any of those planes, man, especially to England. That's what, 8 to 10 hours one way?
10 hours. That's actually much shorter than Egypt and definitely
Man.
much shorter than South Africa. That's a 10-hour flight. But
Oh,
I went there for such a quick turnaround that I didn't have time enough to get jet lag because
yeah.
I was back home before my body realized it had left the country.
See, that's what I thought, man. I said, man, she's been running herself ragged, man. I know her body's gonna talk to her soon and say, hey,
Yeah,
you need to chill.
well, it probably would be okay, but Biz Camp has me up. I'm not a morning person. Anybody that knows me on a
Yeah,
personal level
me
know
too.
I do more. My creativity comes at late at night. So I have to be up and this is for those that go to working. Well, let me put it this way: one of the reasons that I'm an entrepreneur is so I don't have to ever get up at 6 o'clock in the morning unless I want to.
We don't do mornings.
Right in the morning.
what my Texas client called me like 8 o'clock this morning. I'm going, what are they thinking? Don't they know I don't answer my phone before 11 o'clock?
Right. That's one of the caveats of being an entrepreneur. You can dictate your time, and it usually takes place after 8 o'clock in the morning. So, but for Biz Camp, I'm up at 6. I have to be out of the house by no later than 7:30, so I can get to El Segundo and be there by 8 o'clock for the
Oh
kids. So
man.
and drive in traffic.
Mm-mm,
Something
mm-mm,
else that I'm not accustomed to
mm-mm.
doing.
I stopped doing that in February of 2020. I don't do that again anymore. Homie, don't play that.
Oh, we don't play that right. So that's been a little challenging. I think the first week is like kids coming out of school for summer.
Yeah.
First week, I'm not waking up before 8 o'clock. But of course, the body's gonna be accustomed to waking up at that ungodly hour of 6,
Yeah, I
so
hear
it's gonna wake me up at that time. But other than that, I enjoy the kids. This is one of the highlights of my year
yeah.
working with the
So,
kids, and
so,
they're
so
awesome.
when you go to Egypt this time, how long are you gonna stay there for?
8 days.
Well, if you can, man, just try to establish some business connections over there. We can do some transcontinental business.
Don't
we
know if there's
we
much
want to do some business with the
with
Egyptians.
the Egyptians. So Egypt is an interesting. Their hospitality is
Yeah,
their pretty much their primary
the primary revenue source of revenue.
source of revenue. So it's not a lot there, but I have my contacts in South Africa, and I think there's some things that we definitely can do
Yeah, let's do
from
that,
that. So
man.
we'll be working on that as some things that are playing out on a bigger scale with a colleague, another friend of mine. So, but Egypt is a little different,
Yeah,
and they don't really have the infrastructure. They're like my niece, she's given me a list of things that I need to bring from America to
yeah,
her
yeah.
because either it's too expensive in Egypt or it just does not exist. I mean,
Right,
things like shampoo. I have to bring baby products for
right.
diaper rash and that kind of stuff from here. So she sent me a list of what I need to bring. So they don't really have they don't have a really um their economic what do you call it economic structure is
Yeah.
not that forward yet.
You
Uh,
know what I'm thinking? We can we can back trace this, and because Egypt seemed like they're a vendor-based business country, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you have vendors all over the place selling stuff, right? But then they also have a government structure. Now, the federal government, federal U.S. government, they do grants and they also do business in all of these foreign countries, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to check Small Biz Pro and see if there's any grants going out to Egypt, and then we can backtrace it that way. Try to do some procurement that way. You see what I'm saying?
That's possible. It might be
So if we
something
can go to
there.
the federal government or the state government there, then you see how we can reverse
Yeah,
these
yeah, it could
relations.
possibly we could. Now I could see, if they, I don't even know what their NGOs are. Like Africa has a lot of which is
Yeah, a
their
lot of
nonprofit.
NGOs. Yeah.
Yeah, so Africa really has a lot of those. I don't even know I don't know about Egypt. I have to do some research to see what that
Yeah,
is.
when you go, just find out what are some of the NGOs over there. What are some of the government agencies? And once we identify those, I can check Small Biz Pro. See, because the in Small Biz Pro they have all these grants that goes
Right.
international, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, international grants.
Oh, okay.
So we can look and see if they have a grant providing technical assistance to folks in Egypt,
Okay.
then we can apply for that. And then with you visiting the place and understanding the landscape, then we can use that to say, all right, we're going to provide services for these types of groups right here.
Okay, take a and now what about and then we can definitely talk about this in more detail. How about for South Africa, for Cape Town? Because
I'm sure
so
there's
when
grants too because they have international grants. A lot of the grants I saw was from Afghanistan, Iraq, Egypt, not Egypt, Israel,
mhm,
um, Sudan.
because those are all countries that are having major infrastructural problems,
Yes.
and there's some
So,
sort of war going on.
oh yeah, and you know they got thousands and thousands of grants. So I'm gonna check it out.
All right, check
And
that out and see, because I do know the South Africa connection that's he's
that would be
starting an
good. That would be good.
he's starting an entrepreneurial program, the Nifty program, but not just for kids. He's
Yeah,
looking at it for
adults.
the adults, but for artisan type careers,
Oh, okay.
construction,
Right.
contracting,
Yeah.
plumbing, carpentry, things that they can do with their hands. So the
Mhm.
artisan crafts and skill
Yeah.
sets. So but teaching them how to be business owners
Yeah.
so that they can, with those skills, they can actually create their own businesses.
And that's where we come in because we can teach those classes.
Yeah.
Teach them how to become business ready, contract ready, uh,
Mm-hmm.
funding ready,
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit ready, help them to
Mm-hmm.
set up their nonprofits. So yeah, we could do
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So that'll be cool. So yes, let's look at that. I guess when Craig was here, we should have had that conversation because we were looking for some funding resources for him because they
Yeah.
want to launch by October.
Right.
So we'll
All
look
right.
at that.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So you
You want
ready to
you
kick this
want you
off
want
and
you want to
bring it?
go ahead and play the Small Biz Pro,
Yes, 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 yes.
and
It's
then
on.
bring on our wonderful guest so she can tell us about all the wonderful things she's going to share with us.
For sure. Let me go over here and get a Small Biz Pro ready. I think I'm gonna play the older one that you have that we used to play at Morris Media. A little variety here.
Oh, you like that one? Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
mix it
Let's
up a
mix
little
it
bit.
up.
So let me open this up. All righty, and here we go. Okay. Well, I thought we were going.
There we go. You need to turn up the volume.
Small businesses spend more than $500 million each year combined trying
There
to
you
find
go.
missing or replace missing paperwork. Hey, small businesses, are you tired of losing out on business opportunities because your paperwork is not in order? And don't you hate having to register in multiple websites just to find a single procurement opportunity that may not even be worth your time? Well, worry no more. Small Biz Pro is the solution to your problems. Small Biz Pro is an all-in-one cloud-based business management, compliance, and procurement assistance software platform that keeps small businesses organized, contract-ready, bank loan-ready, with quick access to procurement opportunities, as well as market research data. Here are some of the features and benefits that you receive when you use Small Biz Pro to run your business daily. Superior record keeping at your fingertips, back office management and compliance, quick access to bids and procurement opportunities in government databases. It allows you to conduct easy market research and gather industry statistics, government certification preparedness and compliance checklists, easy HR and general operations management functionality, bank loan readiness preparation and cash flow management, certified payroll and labor compliance reporting, business dictionary with defined business terms, a cloud-based business management platform that keeps small businesses organized and ready, even nonprofits, business documents securely stored in the cloud, data fully encrypted and protected by triple firewall reinforcements, on-the-spot document retrieval for quick decision-making, bank-level data security for compliance, document expiration alerts and advanced notifications. It uses security restrictions to block out unauthorized users, and much more. Try it out today for only $5 for the first 30 days. What are you waiting for? Go to www.smallbizpro.net and register now, or your competitors will. Small Biz Pro, keeping small businesses organized, business ready, and contract ready.
All right.
All righty. Now that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So for those of you folks who are just joining the podcast at this moment, this is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30, and you can find us on YouTube, your friendly YouTube. Let's go to youtube.com, and you'll see our show there live. Just click on the button, the join button, and you'll be able to join our show. My co-host has a message for you guys, how you can subscribe. It's very easy, guys. Very easy. No money needed.
No money needed. No money down. It's free 99. Free 99. Go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our channel. You can actually, if you're viewing this now, you can use your camera to scan the QR code, or just go to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, hit that subscribe button. And if you're liking the conversation that's going on, then hit that like button. That will benefit us greatly. And we so appreciate you.
And we want to thank our viewers who just joined us. Miss Patricia Langford, one of my very favorite clients. We also have Miss Nicole Pearson. She says she loves Cape Town, awesome. Crystal. She's been there before. Huh?
I'd say everybody needs to make that migration to the African continent. But it's a journey, yes. But it's well worth it when you get there.
Yes. Man, that's fertile soil for us. It's virgin territory. Because after our interview with your friends down there, we found out that there's a lot of things that we're doing here and we take it for granted. Exactly. They don't even have. So we would love to join forces with them, do some business, because doing business here in Los Angeles is good, but it's not as big a market as the international market, the South African market.
So one of the main things that I was teasing him, because he was here for 2 months, well, I was introducing him to some colleagues so he could get the curriculum that I teach for the kids in South Africa. And so when he was getting ready to leave, which was funny, he said, I said, so how you going to feel about load sharing when you get back home? Because here you got electricity 24/7, and there they have that load sharing where they lose electricity for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't know how I'm going to handle that.
That's crazy. Oh, you know what we could do, Crystal? We could look into getting generators and export
I don't even understand why they have. But I guess you said the same thing about Jamaica, right? There's a whole the power.
Oh yeah, the same thing in Jamaica. Every Tuesday religiously from 5 or 6 in the evening to like 10 at night. Then they shut down the utilities. I'm going, what is going
Oh
on
man,
here?
yeah, no, I couldn't live that. Yeah, that would be difficult. And for them, it starts at 6 and it goes on for at least 4 to 5 hours in the evening. And so they got to get dinner and everything, supper before 5 because everything shuts down. Obviously, you can't buy groceries for no long period of time. That has to be refrigerated because every
Yeah.
night you're gonna lose your groceries. So crazy, crazy.
Man, maybe we
I
can
tell you,
invest in some generators
all
then
I
and
know is
export it over
we should
there.
be very grateful to live in the United States. As crazy as it is, we should be very grateful to
Yes.
live in the United States.
I think this is a very appropriate conversation to share with
Right.
our guest that's coming on soon. Since she has access to the port, maybe we can figure out how we can ship these things
Right,
over
exactly.
there. So
I'm a bring her
so
on.
let's hear from our guest.
Thank you, guys that's listening. And at that point, we're gonna bring in. I'm gonna move us around so she's in the center, and we on the side. How
There you
about that?
go.
There we go.
There you go.
How you doing, Miss Tasha?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I've enjoyed listening to you all.
Welcome to the
We are
business zone,
happy to
Miss
have you
Tasha.
here. Now, Gilbert, I don't know if I shared with you when our conversation on affirmative action. Tasha reached out to me and said, "Wait, I got some input," and so she wanted to talk about this. So it was
Good,
awesome. So let me tell
good.
you guys a little bit about her. Tasha Higgins. She's the MBA, PMBP. I'm sure she'll tell you what that is. Director of Program Management Division of the Engineering Service Bureau in the Port of Los Angeles of California. Um, she was named for that post in March of 2022 by the Long Beach Board of Harbor Commissioner, which is the governing body for the port, and having served as assistant director since October 2020. The managed program management division oversees the port's capital improvement programs, which include dredging, the wharf, the terminal, the building, the railroad, pretty much everything down there in Long Beach.
Right.
And Ms. Higgins has made a significant impact to the division's implementation of quantitative risk assessments, as well as helping to improve small business participation contracts in the engineering service and bureau. So we're so happy to have you. We're going to let her go and tell us a little bit more about her, but she also has another program she's going to be really talking to us about today, was equity and in the infrastructure project. So
I see she already has a fan here, Stephanie Taylor. She's saying, hi,
so with that, we want to welcome you, and
Tasha.
we're looking forward to our conversation today. So welcome, Tasha.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, when I was listening to you guys talk, and even before, just so you guys know, my daughters and son are in the Urban League Biz Camp. And so, yes.
Oh, they
I have the
are.
whole
Yes, yes.
family.
Your son did the lemon. Was it your son or your
That's my
daughter that
baby
did the
daughter,
lemon?
Denise. She
The
did the
lemon.
Lemon Love last
Oh,
year,
your
and she
daughter.
added a
Okay.
product.
Yeah.
So she did lemon marshmallows
Yeah. Oh,
this year.
good.
I have the whole entire family. Well, not all. There's one child that I have not met yet. Under my understanding, she's working, but I have the whole family with me this summer.
Yes. And the one you're missing, Crystal, she's here at the
That's
Port of Long
great.
Beach with me. She has an internship, a high school internship. So
Oh, okay,
I make them
cool.
work.
All
Okay,
right.
good for
That's
you.
great. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's
But
what
yeah,
I'm
thank you for
talking
the
about.
introduction. So I have been amazing job the last couple years here at the Port of Long Beach. And some of why I'm doing it is because I've been a business owner. I've been a small business owner. I've been all the BEs that there are, minus the veteran. And I did the painstaking process of certifying myself with LA County Metro for their small business program, which is an extensive certification process. I've had up to 10 contracts statewide and 8 employees. And it was baptism by fire in the business world. So I've been a part as a disadvantaged business owner. You get on the list. You're a subcontractor, and you're appreciated for being part of the team. But I've also been the subject of when the prime firm reaches their limits and they choose to let you go, and it's very difficult. So when I decided to come back,
they can do that.
well, they don't
They're
say
not
it,
allowed
but yeah,
to.
I've been a part of that. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna have to come
Yeah,
advocate for you there, Tasha.
I know how to do it now. So I decided to come back into the
Oh,
agency. So
okay,
when I left my company, I came back into the agency directly to the Port of Long Beach, and I knew I wanted to make a difference. So my executive director, now CEO, Mario Cordero, he found out that I owned a business, and he called me around August of 2021, and he asked me to lead up a team of colleagues in which we would come together weekly and we'd figure out how to diversify our business pool. We were having, we actually at some point didn't know where we stood. If you know, back in 1996, California passed our form of the anti-affirmative action, which we just saw nationally happen recently.
Oh yeah.
We passed it in 1996. It was called Prop 209. Yeah,
Yep,
and
Prop
it's
209.
interesting because it didn't affect the business community so quickly. It went from the universities and then eventually came through to the schools.
Then it trickled down into contracting and state contracts and all
and
of
now
that.
nationally we're wondering the same thing for the DBE program, but we're not going to let that stop us. So one of the things he wanted us to do is, with all legal possibilities, how can we track what we're doing, and two, make an impact, because the racial the racial wealth gap is there, and it's prominent. And just there was before the Equity Infrastructure Project was formed, and it was formed prior to the passing of the $1.2 trillion Infrastructure and Jobs Act bill, there was a white paper study, and they actually, John Picari and Phil Washington, if you know Phil Washington, he was the CEO of LA County Metro for a while, and now he's the CEO of Denver International Airport.
Oh yeah.
Him and the then port envoy John Picari and the James Irvine Foundation, Drexel University, and a few other philanthropists came together, and they studied and they researched why is it that there still is such a racial wealth gap, and they came up with a five reform matrix. In their study, I'm just going to quote it here. The problem exacerbates in the nation's gapping racial wealth gap by allocating consistent public spending on majority-owned businesses. Fully addressing the procurement and business ownership disparity would create a generational transformation for the wealth of the nation's Black and Brown residents. The status quo is unacceptable. Total revenue of Black-owned businesses in 2017 was $128 billion versus $11.6 trillion for white-owned businesses. And Black-owned businesses generate just 1% of the revenue of their counterparts, their white counterparts. Now, that was the basis of why the racial wealth gap is growing. It's not shrinking. There's nothing changing. And so we thought, I wasn't part of the original team, but the original team thought the best way to do that is through contracting. And so they came up with the 5 reforms of what is wrong and what's happening and how can we fix it. And one of them is access to capital. And I know, as a business owner, making payroll every 2 weeks, capital is the biggest problem small businesses have. And I'm a witness. During the pandemic, I applied for the payment protection and was denied. And I had a payroll of 8 employees. Don't know why, but that's just my personal story.
Wow.
That was my personal story.
So that means you didn't have any lines of credit or anything like that.
The only thing I had, now I was fully cash based, but the only thing I had was a business line of credit with my bank. It was like a $30,000 to carry me through.
Was it Okay. Well, so was it a
Just
credit
like
card or just a
like a
real
HELOC
line
for
of
your
credit?
house. It was just sitting in the bank. If I needed it, I used
Yes.
it and paid
Yeah.
right back. And
Yeah.
then I did some creative, a receivable. I asked some companies, can you do a receipt? My prime firms that were working over me, could you do a receivable loan for me? You know that I'm doing work, I'm billing consistently. Can you advance me the money as
Yeah.
opposed to waiting until you get paid? Because if you know anything about public contracting with contractors, you work the full month, then you send the invoice. Now you've been paying payroll for about a month and a half just before the invoice is submitted. Then they don't have to
Before
pay the
you get
prime for
paid.
30 days. If there's no problem with the invoices, if there are problems with any one of those subcontractor or prime invoices, you're talking 5 to 6 months after you've done the work
That's
to get
horrible.
paid. So, and I'm going to jump down to the fifth one, which is prompt payment. That is tantamount to small businesses being able to work. Is we're
Right,
not asking for a
exactly.
handout. We're
Oh,
just
yeah.
asking to get paid for the work that we do.
Oh,
On
yeah.
time,
Get paid on
Not
time. That's
no,
what we
not
want.
have to beg for the money for the work that you've already done.
Exactly. And so the other pillar is direct contracting with the agency. So being a small business as a sub is great, and it's great to get started, but you don't always want to be a sub. You don't always want to stay there.
Right.
You want to have, and Gilbert, I really feel bad that we didn't connect more because I want to help you, but you want to have that direct contract with the public agency. You want to be the prime.
Yes.
And that goes to some of the creative things they're talking about. We are all, as public agencies, and I didn't even tell you all of the movers, but I'll tell you in a moment, but we're trying to help the businesses form joint ventures with larger companies. Equity partnerships with other companies, mentor protege. And you mentioned the mentor program. That is something that we're really advocating, and Caltrans does a good job of it, but not every agency does that. We're trying to encourage our larger companies to sub under small businesses. We're trying to encourage that as well. That gives them it depends on the type of contract, of course, but it gives the fortitude of the small business to get over a large company that can support them. The other two are cap limits. So one of the problems, and the USDOT just changed their cap limits for underserved business. They changed the cap limit for a business in March of 2023 from $28.48 million to $30.4 million. One of the things that the white paper noticed is as that small business is trying to get better and better and better and just better, they're not quite good enough to swim with the big dogs,
Right.
but they're too big to qualify for any points within the disadvantage program. So it becomes John Picard, huh?
It's a
catch-22. Calls it the valley of death. And it becomes this, I'm successful, I'm doing great, but you're not great enough. And then no one wants you on your team, but you can't compete with the large firms. So they're trying to, the United States Department of Transportation is trying to increase both the personal net worth, which is still at $1 million. Hello, California.
Is it 1.32 million? Is that what
you got that with one house?
That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous, man. I've been fighting that with the SBA and all those for the law, because the SBA, theirs is not even 1.32 million. Theirs is like 750,000. So that's with you and your spouse.
California alone should have a totally different number calculation.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a house in the middle of South LA in the worst neighborhood, and it's selling for $1 million now.
There's your net worth. I mean, yes. So the other is the burdensome process. So if you know, and I think part of your business, Gilbert, is helping small businesses do this, but it is a extremely burdensome process to certify with everybody you want to do business with. And part of what EIP wants to do is make that easier, streamline it, talk to the other agencies. One of the we're trying to work a California plan. So all of the California agencies, which are right now Long Beach, Port of Long Beach, Metropolitan Water District, LAWA, I think, is just signing. LA Metro just signed. LA County just signed. Public Works, and then there's, I think that's that's it for California agencies. We want to develop a reciprocity within each other to share each other's certs.
Oh, that's great.
So that would be easier for a small business. Right now, we have an example. This is great. The great thing about the EIP is we meet on a monthly basis. All of our agencies, the representatives meet monthly. The CEOs meet quarterly. And that's very important to the organization that the CEOs actually sit in a meeting together to talk about our plan and what we're doing for these various agencies. Chicago Transit Authority and Southern Pennsylvania Transit Authority just signed an MOU. It's on the website, on the let me just give you the website.
I'm going to share it right now so that we can see that.
equityandinfrastructure.org, and you can see the pledge right there. And if you go to resources and then click SEPTA CTA MOU, this is the agreement between those two transit agencies. And if you're certified with one, you're certified with the other. You don't have to do any paperwork. Automatic.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful. Now, I believe Metropolitan Water District, LAUSD, and I think the Long Beach Unified School District, I think that they had a reciprocity with their certification through Planet Bid, but I don't know if they change anything within that. But yeah, we do need to have some substantial agreements between these agencies, because getting certified, man, and renewing your certification for all these different is a pain in the butt.
I mean, I remember I had to write, they asked the question, how do you tell us how you pay, how your employees work for you and how you pay them regularly? I had to write every detail of what I do when I go through the payroll process.
Wow.
I had to write how
they actually ask you that?
Money. They asked me how I write invoices. It was very detailed.
I think that's insulting, though, because they don't ask the primes that. You know, they don't ask the Hansel Phelps. They don't ask the Clark. They don't ask those guys any of that. So, but they're asking us. You see what I'm saying?
That's true. But there's one thing that, and you know, to their defense a little bit, some larger firms can afford a audited financial report, and some small businesses can't. So in order for me to verify, and then they don't necessarily, you know, whether they come out and actually physically audit my company. So there is some concession they give to small business, but it's time consuming for the single woman shop, you know, that's trying to do the best she can to keep her employees working and billable and going to the business meetings and doing all that. It is a lot of work. So I would say it was about a week and a half to 2 weeks worth of work that you have to put in to be certified at one agency.
So your goal is to combine that so that it would be one portal. I thought that, isn't that what Sam is supposed to do?
No, Sam does something different. Sam is for the SBA and federal procurement. So what they do is they make sure that you have. They used to use the Dun and Bradstreet number. Now they call the unique business entity code. So they use that, and then they put you in this database so you can go after federal contracts. But that's primarily
federally it's a little easier because there is the California Unified Certification Program as well that helps to manage the federal DBE program. And they're supposed to be, if you're certified with CUPC, you're certified with all the agencies. But it's still, the ports federal funded projects are very small. So we're talking, what do we do when it's not federally funded, and Metropolitan Water District has 0 federal funds.
Right. Because I think they get private
Yes.
sponsorship and funding, so they can pretty much do what they want with their
Right.
contracting, because they're not beholden
Right.
to any government agency where you have to be in an equitable manner. You can say, well, small business should get 10% of this contract.
Right.
No, it doesn't work that way with
So
those guys.
so your subs would how do everybody come together? How does it come together? Is there, I know you guys are meeting monthly, CEOs are meeting quarterly. How is there some sort of meet the EIPs like meet the prime? How does that work?
So the EIP was formed in December of 2001, so 2021. We were 5 agencies. We call them the first 5. It was Long Beach Transit, Long Beach Transit, Port of Long Beach, Metropolitan Water, Denver, CTA, and SEPTA.
Okay.
Since then, we are now 42 agencies.
Wow.
42 agencies and private firms. So if you go,
awesome.
Yes,
up here to the,
it's in there. The full list of them is on. Gotta find page. Well, keep looking. You'll find there's a full list of them. Maybe it's on the fact sheet. So what we're doing is each of us are working independently, collectively.
Okay.
So we have goals that we set. So when we signed the pledge, all of us stated what we want to achieve. Our goal is eventually by 2025 to have a 50% increase in the number of primes that contract with our agencies. And that's each agency independently. Of course, collectively, we've obtained, umpteen $1 million, hopefully. So we've, as a Port of Long Beach ourselves, we've done one incredibly, I believe, major thing, which was hire an officer of DEI with a specialty in procurement.
That's good.
I am a director of a division at the port. To hire someone who this is their primary focus, that speaks volume. That speaks volumes to the community, and that tells them we're serious about this. We're serious about this commitment, and we're going to make sure that it takes place. Not only we hired an individual who this is their full-time job.
Oh, wow.
And it shows that you're policing the process. So that's really what we need as small businesses, because we don't really trust the existing processes that these agencies have, because they tell us that they're here for us. I'm going to share real quickly. I'm going to share a little thing that happened to me, and I'll put it out there. Metro, right? I was a subcontractor to a prime, and the prime got the contract, and my company was supposed to receive 100 and something thousand, right? But the prime decided, hey, I'm not going to pay you. You're not worth what this contract amount is. So we're going to pay you like 25% of that. So, of course, when those things happen, you call a meeting with the contract owner, and you try to get a hearing going on. Well, they do the bureaucratic thing and say, well, our contract is really with the prime and not with the sub. I'm going, yeah, but your program said that the prime is to adhere to these programs and take care of the subs. They can't all willy-nilly decide that they're going to cut the contract amount, which was included in the proposal document. So we went through that process. It took me about 2-3 years, take it to court and all of that. And I eventually won, but it was just
you are so right. And so one of the things we miss in the public agencies is people that really understand that. Like I just told you, the time between the time you work and the time you get paid, I have emphatically told some of my staff members, do not hold an invoice. This is very important that you pay these people. This is their food. This is their livelihood. But sometimes when you're disconnected from that, you don't understand. And when I tell you that I was part of a team that all of a sudden wasn't anymore, I mean, I'm experiencing the same. I've experienced what that means. And so the agencies, one of the recommendations we've talked about here within the Port of Long Beach is putting teeth behind those contracts and looking into the sub agreements, because yes, I'm the owner, you're the prime, and I don't see you sub, but I need to know that my prime is committed to the people that they've said they were going to do the work for.
But you know, it's kind of funny, Tasha, because as a corporation, you know, my area of expertise is accounting, and I've worked in corporate even before I became an entrepreneur. I worked in corporate accounting departments, and so it's all about cash flow. So as a corporation, you can't a Fortune 5, Fortune 1000, 2000, you can't function without cash flow. Right. And you definitely can't function beyond 3 to 4 months without cash flow. So for them not to understand, and that's them, they got deep pockets.
Yes.
But those deep pockets also have payroll that have to go out every 10 days. And they could be any. I worked at a company where I ran payroll. It's like we spent $250,000 every 10 days.
Ooh.
I know, it was ridiculous, but it was a .com company. $250,000 every 10 days. And so I'm like, you do guys understand that you have a whole department that go after your accounts receivable. So if you have a department that's going after your accounts receivable to make sure, what happens to the little man?
Yes.
Do you think he doesn't have a cash flow problem? His is much more detrimental than yours, because he don't have 6 months of reserves or a year of reserves. His payroll roll around, he needs all his dimes. And I have never got that, you know, myself as a small business owner, that's my pet peeve. Don't hold my money up.
Mine too.
And when they do it to me, I'm like, wait, you do realize what my industry is, what my real, I may be a business coach, but my real skill set is in accounting.
The numbers.
So it's the numbers. And so, you know, I understand the games you play.
Yeah.
And see the thing with that also, Tasha, and you know, I'm hoping together we can all work on a campaign that will fix this problem. But most of this problem is coming from the primes. The primes are the ones, because they get paid quickly from the owner. You know, they get paid within 7 days. But then they're the ones who are supposed to turn around and pay the subs. They don't want to do it. They find all kinds of reasons not to pay the sub. And the owner was supposed to hold them accountable to that through the Prompt Payment Act. But that does not happen. So that's true. Where the disconnect
is. True. So back to your access to capital, which you guys are also bringing up, is one of the, you brought up the list. I saw it on there, the list of our signers. We have both public agencies now, and I forgot how many DOTs are on that list, but we also have private agencies. And one company has been very instrumental in helping with bonding and insurance for small businesses, and that is
Meriwether and Williams.
Yes, so you're familiar with them already. Oh yeah. They've been very instrumental at LAWA and things that they're doing. So helping us figure out how do we help small businesses. So they're, as an advisor to the EIP, we tap into them when we need help. So I think this is a great coalition of all of us have the same issues. Some are slightly different than others, but we all decided to come together, and we recognize that there's a problem and we need to fix it. And so
this is amazing, because you know, when Gilbert, everyone knows that I talk about this all the time, is that we can no longer afford to work in silos. We have to work collectively together to make a change, and a larger voice of minorities with a whole coalition behind you has a lot larger voice than you as an individual. And if we, and I remember, Tasha, when I first met Gilbert, I really wasn't, my businesses were more, it was not contractual, it was more transactional.
Yeah.
And I did work with the nonprofits and so forth, so I really didn't know too much about the whole certification, the MBEs, and the BEs.
Yeah.
And so the very first time I met Gilbert, he was doing a workshop for Sharon, for a company, and I'm listening to him, and at the same time I'm going, wow, there's like 400,000 minority owned or black owned businesses, and this seems like this is a slam dunk. What the heck is the problem, right? And so I asked that question. It's like, okay, if all of this is there, what is the holdup? And so of course they said, from the the business owners, their income, their taxes, capital, and it was something else, Gilbert, that it was three things.
Certification.
Mm-hmm. and the process of compliance, but the certification, it was very overwhelming and daunting for them when they had to fill out because the other thing, the tax thing, you can get that set up, you can get your accounting system set up, but it was really more about that part. So then after I met Gilbert and he was talking, and I'm like, well, okay, I don't understand what the problem is. And then they told me, but then I started working kind of along with him and becoming much more, it was now in my line of focus when I'm talking to my clients. Mm-hmm. Many of them have gotten certified.
Yeah.
But nothing happens past that for them.
Right.
It's like, okay, I got this certification. What do I do with it now? I don't know where to go. Yeah. I don't know who to connect with, or I've tried to find contracts and I'm outbidded. I don't know how to bid. I don't know how to do any of that. And even though all of our organizations are helping, obviously we ain't quite got the formula right. So is that something is going to be part of this, is to really help walk them through this process?
Absolutely. Now you're getting into the training aspect, the hand holding. So because I came from within the public agency, mm-hmm. I knew how the sausage was made, right? So I had a little bit of an advantage of knowing how to navigate. What I would say for a small business out there that needs to understand how to do this is they have to get out there. There's a lot of events. We're going to start having more. We had a couple this year doing business with the port. We're going to start ramping those up. Metro has a consistent one. Go to them even if you don't have anything or there's nothing on the future procurements list for you to do. The reason you want to go to them is because you need the time to network and to get to know the other businesses that are seeking. It's sometimes it's about the owner. A lot of times it's about the partnership, so that you can actually get some minor small contracts so that you can even prove that you can do it. So it's getting in by association in some sense with the people that your colleagues, and then you can prove yourself to the agency. Having FaceTime with the agencies is very important as well. Yes. Spend the time getting to know what they do and how you may have to translate what you do to make sure they understand that, I can do that. This is exactly how my company, what you need is what my company does. And so that comes with time spent with the agency.
And that's where the capability statement also comes in, because when you craft a well-developed capability statement, you go to these events, you meet with reps from the agencies, you share it with them, they look at it, they say, oh, you do this? Oh, yeah, that's good. Then they start building that rapport with you.
Right.
The next part of that, which we've been advocating to small businesses a lot, is agencies are no longer looking to do business with just one business. They're looking for a collective of business to work with them in a group or a network. So it behooves them to go out and team up, try to team up with other small businesses to come in and handle the project, So those are the things we try to encourage them to do.
And that's where if you could form a joint venture of two companies together.
Yeah.
I know my CEO has told me specifically, I want new business. Mm-hmm. I want people, if at all possible, when you go through this procurement process,
Yeah.
Other than a low bid construction, that's that's totally based on dollar.
Right.
But if you have the ability, I want to make sure to give the opportunity, don't put in the scoring criteria has done business with the port before, and then they get extra points. So that's out. We don't do that anymore.
Right.
So we just make sure we want new businesses to come in. So you mentioned the training. That's huge.
Yes. Yes.
Getting people to know, and that's why I also said earlier, compliance.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get the job, so say we did all this work right, we finally got in there. What also blindsides business owners is keeping up with the paperwork.
Yes.
Because the paperwork for every agency is different.
That is so true.
And that's where Gilbert, your small business pro comes in.
That's my sweet spot right there.
And so compliance, having a consultant to help them, a small business with compliance for a while would be great. If that's Gilbert or whatever. Yeah. But that is something that I think blindsides the small businesses as well. Mm-hmm. So we're here to help with what little staff we have. We've put one resource so far.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that team grows to actually be able to support our businesses.
Right. Well, I'm willing to help y'all, Tasha, because, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've done it with all the usual suspects, the Metro, the LACCD, the LAUSD, all of those agencies, even some of the private ones like Kiewit Construction and all the others. So I would love to help you out with that because compliance, that's my thing.
Okay. And so one of the other things we did, and I'm speaking specifically of the port, and other companies may have already done this, but we started posting our future procurements list so people can know well ahead of time what we're actually looking for.
Yeah.
And team up, call us. Well, you can't. Well, once it's on the street, we can't talk about it. But if next year I have something on the list, you're welcome to engage us. Figuring out what we do.
Yeah.
So
let me ask this, Tasha. So, all of us that do coaching for the various agencies in the city, and we're coaching our clients, one to be business ready, bank loan ready, and then on the backside of that, contract ready, which in my opinion, if once you become business ready and bank loan ready, you should be ready for contracts because all the I's have been dotted and the T's are crossed. So, with GLAC and Vermont Slauson and Vermont Slauson being and PCR being important because they do have that money arm that's attached to them. Would that be another viable partnership for you guys so that because we obviously have to continue to create that, we have that grassroots program where we're preparing businesses to be contract ready, and eventually when they are contract ready, where do we send them? Is that where a partnership could be developed, or Absolutely. Is there another group, another space in between there that needs to be filled, like a database or something?
Yeah, that's a great question. For GLAC, I've added GLAC and Hispanic Chamber. I've added a bunch of the chambers to our list to contact, but it's not our specific job we do. Is just more of a touch point to say, hey, come and do work with us here. We have a new procurement on the list. To join EIP, for those who are new, I think that would be a fabulous connection point for the nation, because you could see, you saw the list of both the advisory council agencies and public agencies that are accessed.
Yes.
And Meriwether and Williams did the exact same thing. They wanted to connect. They wanted to be a part of the solution. And now as an advisor, they advise all of our agencies on how we can do our work better and when we need to share information across. So we are developing a database, a shareable database among all our agencies. So that's something I definitely think that GLAC being a part of EIP would be fabulous.
So Gilbert, you work with Angela in the BEP program. You're pretty involved in both Vermont Slauson on that level, right? Because you're part of their procurement piece. And also Gilbert works with a number of chambers out in
Inland
Sharp.
Inland
Empire.
Empire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Inland Empire.
So I pretty much run the coaching portion of the BEP program at GLAC. So those small businesses, I coach and prepare them, get them ready. Same thing with Vermont Slauson. So the question I was going to ask is, I see on the list you have sponsors, but do you have like resource providers, like technical support, technical assistance, like companies like ours that we could come in, start training these businesses, teaching them how to become contract ready, what the owners are looking for, because that's what I used to teach at LAUSD and LACCD. We had those boot camps, and we run them through that. We even developed a mentor protege program at LACCD, and those small businesses, but 20 of those small businesses were able to secure $4 million in contracts, because the problem was, oh, they're saying, well, these contracts are too big for these little companies. They can't do it. So we said, okay, we will break it up then. So we broke up the $4 million into 20 pieces so that they all participate. So those are some of the types of things we can do for these small businesses: prep them, get them ready, get them understanding safety, because safety is a key component of procurement. So all of those things. So yeah, we could be a resource provider,
that would be
technical
great.
assistance. Yes.
Yeah, I think just talking with the leadership at EIP and bringing you in and figuring out how your services can be of used for all of our agencies would be wonderful.
Oh, definitely. We'd love that, man. And Crystal and I, we're unique in what we do, and we're darn good at what we do. I mean, we love to pat ourselves. People thought, oh, you're self-serving. We don't care. We do a great job with these small businesses. So when she looks at their books, man, I'm telling you, those books are in order, because she walks them down a certain pathway, tell them what they need to do, and she stays on top of them until they get it.
Awesome.
So that's the kind of thing we
back
do.
when I was in.
Yeah, because that's for whatever reason, there's the two areas that they tend to ignore in small businesses, or don't have enough time, and most of the time they don't like the numbers, so they don't like numbers or math. But it's interesting when I'm teaching them, and I do teach them how to use. I no longer do bookkeeping for them. I teach them how to do their own.
Yeah.
Primarily because I've had to untangle so many books.
Sure.
But one of the services that I provide for Vermont Slauson is as they're trying to qualify someone for a loan, they send them to me so that I can fix the books. Yeah. And then they tell me what the problem is, and then I train them on what they need to do, and then we turn it back around so that they can submit their financial statements and so forth. So that's what I do for Vermont Slauson. GLAC, I do more coaching and setting up and training. I do the same thing for the Urban League. But once they learn, they're like, oh, this is not so bad, right? Yeah. And then I kind of correlate that with, so if you got a contract like we're talking about, and your net is 3 months, then you got to make sure that you got the cash flow. So let me show you how to read a cash flow statement and see the rhythm of how you do business, right? And so when you understand the rhythm of how you do business, how your money comes in, how your money goes out, when it comes in, then you understand that maybe you need to stagger, because nobody should have one line of income anyway, right? So you should stagger. You should make sure that when you got those shortcomings and shortfalls, you should have some other monies and other ways to bring money in, either through a product or a service or whatever it is you're doing, because that gets you, that you can better prepare for those 90-day nets. Right. And so that's what we do, is to make sure that before they get to you guys, because that was the one thing that I heard from Gilbert and them, Sharon Evans, was they're never ready. Or you hear that from Edison is RBD's, one of RBD's, and Edison should be on this list as well.
Yeah.
So if you need a contact to get to Edison, I have contacts for Edison and SoCal Gas.
Yeah.
Are they on? They're not on your list.
Well, I was at a National Association of Minority Contractors event, and the Edison supplier diversity person was getting an award, but I can't remember his name.
I know his name.
You know what I'm saying? But he should be on this list. I agree, Edison, absolutely.
So Edison should be on that list. Joe Child from
From
SoCal
the
Gas,
gas company.
they should
Yeah.
be there. I
Yeah.
have a guy that was on. I do. I don't know if you're aware of this. In addition to the Business Zone, I do a another podcast called the Community Briefing.
Yeah.
And the community briefing is on Thursdays at 11. So we bring in all of the leaders and stakeholders as guests to tell us what they're doing. So there's a guy over at the American Water. He is like on the same. He's having it. I had the same conversation with him that you're having right now.
Wow.
He should be on your list.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He definitely
Cool.
should be on there.
Give me those. Okay, Edison, gas, and water. I'll get those from you later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Edison Gas and American Water. I don't know if you know Kevin Harbor. Kevin Harbor is over the Biz Institute. Was it Biz? Was it? Because they've been doing these forums every quarter with the utility companies. I think they have one coming up in
Kevin
August.
Harbor at the Port of Los Angeles.
Kevin Harbor is his company is called,
it's a company. Okay.
Yeah, he has a nonprofit and it is called because they're talking about water. Let me go to what's the name real quick and I can get you Kevin. But yeah, there's a number of folks that you could talk to bring them in.
Yeah, I believe, Tasha, I believe what you're doing is great. We love it. We just need to structure it so that these small businesses can really benefit, because I've been on teams before where we have advisory committees and all of that, where the mission was to do a lot of what we're talking about right now. Mm-hmm. But as soon as the committee is formed, then the mission get shifted to somewhere else. So it was no longer on the small businesses, but on specific individuals who get the benefit from those things. And I hate that, because then they take the opportunities, don't pass it down to the small business. And that's just how it's been. Yeah. So the big part is going to be technical assistance and training. That's a big part. The second part is with Crystal coming in and doing the bookkeeping and helping these guys to understand their books, because we know the three major problems that they have, small business have, is understanding their finances, having their paperwork in order and ready, and compliance. Those are the three major problems they have.
Don't disagree.
Yeah. So once we can help to address those things from a technical support or technical assistance standpoint, then the fourth arm to that is to provide them access to funding. So we want to get these banks coming in and be willing and ready to provide lines of credits to these small businesses, because they treat all the small businesses the same way. Oh, you guys are not ready. Oh, you guys are high risk. We don't want to talk to you guys. But, one of the things that we tried to do at LAUSD was to establish a lockbox. So the lockbox would be when the subcontractor gets paid. No, when the prime gets paid from the owner, the subcontractor's funds would go into that lockbox, and then the lenders who provide a line of credit to it, they get paid first. And then the subs, you see what I mean?
Yes.
Something like that will help to increase the number of participation of subcontractors on projects, small business, and then the lenders, they will benefit too.
Absolutely.
So if we can reestablish something like that, man, I'm telling you, man,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, your campaign would be super tremendous.
We've been talking about unbundling invoices as well.
Yeah.
If there's a possible way that, instead of the pay the prime, pay the sub, it's unbundling each sub get paid its share without having to wait for the prime. We've been talking about unbundling scopes of work, making smaller contracts. We've talked about insurance, bond. We have a list of recommendations that's long. So, public agencies move very slowly.
Right.
But it's definitely a commitment at the very top of all of our agencies to make change.
Yeah.
We just need like you said, I would love to connect you with the EIP people as far as how some ideas that you have, and even connect you with our Officer of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion with procurement, so that you could share with her some of the thoughts that you have as she's developing the program here.
Yeah,
I think that would be very beneficial.
Would definitely love it, because I want to see small businesses get a bigger piece of the pie. Plus, in 2026 and 2028, we've got the FIFA World Cup coming here, and the Olympics. You see what I'm saying? So,
but here's the thing, Gilbert, what you just said, I don't think it's a piece of the pie. I think if we focus on racial closing the racial wealth gap, the pie grows.
Exactly.
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 It's not that I'm taking from anybody.
Right. No, everybody's going to get an equal share of that pie, as opposed. It's not like you can do it all yourself anyway.
No.
Right.
Yesterday, at the park, we're forging a relationship with LA 28, and they're literally, from what my understanding is, when we had the Olympics before, we're one of the states that made money.
Yeah.
And that money today is still funding sport programs and other programs here. So now they're looking at $164 million in 2028 just for the Olympics, and for the World Cup, somewhere about $40 million. Again, we don't have to build anything. So we don't have the problems other cities have had, because everything is being built and it all came from the bonds. So, but we need to make sure that our businesses are in there.
Yeah. Actually, the budget on that, co-host, the budget on the Olympics is $5.3 billion. $5.3 billion. So we want to make sure our small businesses get a piece of that, because they got to be ready. They got to be prepared.
To that point, have you guys heard of Ramp LA?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. So you're already plugged in.
Yeah, but even with some of that, because Ramp is the one that did LA businesses that came in for the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure when.
I think Ramp was the one that helped it, though, but it was still a very
at the time they call it LA Bobbin. Just so you know, Tasha, I was a big part of the team that developed LA Bobbin for the city.
Oh, were you?
Oh yeah. Wow. When I worked at the mayor's office, that's what we did. Just like we're talking right now about how small business is being dispossessed. That's what we were talking about back then, and that's why we developed Bobbin, LA Bobbin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's been switched so that it can open up, because the city of Long Beach we actually signed to be a part of the Ramp LA as well.
Right.
City of Long Beach, and all of the businesses are trying to come together there. But I wanted to share another thing with you, if you could write it down. I was on a panel with the National Association for Business Economics in March of 2022. One of the representatives from the Federal Reserve of San Francisco, her name was Laura Choi. She did some research called the Economic Gains from Equity, and she talked about it's the fact that by addressing the racial wealth gap, it actually impacts the GDP positively, and she has the data to show that if we address the least, it actually impacts everyone.
And that's what we were talking about 2 weeks ago on the affirmative action thing, right?
Yeah, I heard you.
But it's interesting, and because of that, because anytime you have the disparity as large as it is between the poor and the wealthy, then we have the problems we have in our country today. You see it all around the world. You see it in India, especially in India. The wealth gap is so huge, and the poverty is so immense that it doesn't benefit the whole country. The country suffers because of that. So with that, and I'm sure you're sitting at the table, and this is what I always tell people, that you need to be at the table so you can hear the conversations that are being had about you. Why can't we fix this? I mean, have there been any of those conversations, or probably there's some backdoor conversations that are having, but it only makes sense that if you balance out the economics, then the country does better.
Benefits. Everybody
Well,
Yes.
it
benefits.
benefits everybody. I don't
Mhm.
understand the
Yeah.
feast of famine
Mhm.
mentality. I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. There's a more sinister
Crazy.
plan out there than I
Yeah,
know,
like I
but
said, like I said, there's always those back conversations
yes.
that's being had. But there are a lot of since we've and we've been on the air now for 3 years. This conversation you're having is also being had by many others.
Yes.
But again, they don't know you, you don't know them, so we all operate in some sort of silo where if we all actually come up together and actually had conversation, we could actually collectively make a plan. Hey, Michael Banner. Michael Banner says a new study is that's somebody else you need to know. A new study is underway by McKinsey
McKinsey.
and company that analyzes the accelerated wealth and transit
Oh wow, that's good.
development. So you want to know Michael? Michael is a land developer here in I think Michael, you're in Compton, right? Um, so you wanna reach out. I have everybody's information that I'm referring to you. So if
Nice.
you would like their information, I'd love to give it to you. Kevin
Yes.
Harbor, he is with BizFed Institute. They're doing
Mhm.
some amazing things. There's about the housing marketplace.
And the guy from the water
And
company.
that's where all the water people came from, because
Mhm.
when you talk about housing, you're talking about infrastructure, you're talking about utilities, you're talking about the water, you're talking about the internet, the cyber optics and all of that, because you can't have any of those without that. And so he did
Right.
an amazing forum, virtual forum, and it was like a all day thing. It was some incredible conversations. I kept popping in and out, but I will refer you over. I'd love to see everybody working together
Oh, for
with making some
sure.
major changes that would affect all of us.
Yes.
That'd be
Um,
great.
Now,
and go
sorry,
ahead, Gilbert.
Tanya, do you have the contact information the on the National Association for Business Economics? Do you have that info so we can check it out?
Actually, I just put in, it says private chat, so I guess I wasn't able to share it with
Oh,
everybody.
I just put it over there.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, that's it, huh?
That's actually the research, and
Oh,
the actual paper that she wrote is on a link on this site.
perfect, perfect. I'll check it because I don't know if Crystal told you. I am a numbers and data person. I
Yes,
love to do research. I can collect all this statistics and data. I
nice.
love it, love it.
So Michael Banner just put his information in. So if you would get, it's right there in the chat
I got
there.
it.
He has an organization. Michael, what is it that we went to? I just went to a forum with him on housing. Was incredible. And he also brought in all the movers and the shakers as well. His company is the Los Angeles LDC, um, and they do. He's a land developer and provides capital. That's what Michael does. So he's a consultant, um, really smart guy. So I think and knows everybody as well. And so that would be beneficial, because again, if we don't start working together, we're not going to make it.
I think Michael's information got skipped out of the chat.
Oh, what happened to it? Did he pull it?
Michael, can you re-enter your information again, Michael? Your contact info? Something happened there.
Yeah, something. It was in there and then it was gone.
Yeah.
Maybe he was readjusting it. But
Yeah.
anyway, there are a number of people having this conversation, and if they were aware of the pledge. So when they take the pledge, what does that mean?
So when they take the pledge, we all have committed to increasing by more than 50% the 5 areas. So that's increasing the prime contracting to our respective agencies,
Mhm.
increasing the subs, the historically underutilized business participation. Subs is
Mhm.
one. We really want to focus on primes. making sure that they actually have a contract with the agency,
Mhm.
streamlining the administrative contracting process and centralized certification. That's the third pledge. The fourth pledge is increasing the amount of financing available to the hubs and aiming at creative structuring, joint venture, equity partnerships, a mentor protege, prime subbing. So those are the areas that we've all committed to explore. And the fifth one is to add signers. So we are our own marketing. So we are trying to, I talk with every agency that I have a friend with. Hey, have you considered joining the pledge? Join the pledge with us, as well as the contractors that do work with us as far as being on the advisory committee. So
Mhm.
our 5 goals of the pledge are not easy because, as I mentioned, these ocean liner, size agencies don't turn very easily.
Right.
But we made a commitment together that we would move the needle, especially because the Infrastructure and Jobs Act with the Justice 40 environmental initiative to specifically make sure that the dollars that are spent will go to and serve the communities that are recipients of the grant funds. And that means that we'd have to impact our historically underutilized communities and businesses.
Did
So we've committed to doing it. Don't expect something to happen overnight. Like I said, one of the major things we've done is hired a full-time person to tackle this.
Okay.
Where I was doing it at 10% of my available time, she's
Yeah.
full-time. So that's
Yeah.
it shows promise,
Yeah.
at least with our organization. And one of the things you can look forward to for California is, like I mentioned, the California agencies have come together, and we've decided to try to work together to make it easier for our California firms to do business with across all sectors. So between the water and the ports and
Mhm.
the transit. So we're trying to just make it easier for people to do business with us.
I'm excited about this, Tasha. I'm really glad. And here is why I love this. Not just your body that they put in there, but you have been in the trenches. You understand what's going on down there with small businesses.
I do.
So when you come to the table, you're coming with some historical knowledge that you can share that, hey, I was once a small business and this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
And that's why you and I, when we're doing this, we can relate so much, because as a small business, trust me, I've been through the good, the bad, the ugly. I was telling Crystal recently that, one of the companies that we do business with, I won't name them, but I had to fight with them. They owe me for 4 months. They haven't paid my invoice, right?
Yeah.
And then when I finally decide to start asking them some more and being a little more assertive about it, they decide to terminate my contract because they didn't like the fact that I was asking them to do their job. They got very upset about it.
Wow.
So that's what a lot of these entities do. And these are economic development agencies. Their job there is to help small businesses. Can you imagine that?
Not to mention, Gilbert, you have likely hired people or you've contracted with people to do the work that you were promised.
Yes.
It's unacceptable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so no, I got to pay them out of my pocket until I get money from
Somewhere
this
else.
agency.
Which
Yes.
means now that cuts right into your cash flow.
Yes.
Because all dollars are allocated for running and operating your own business. So
Right.
it's almost like it's just unfathomable sometimes when you think about, okay, how do you think I'm running my business over here?
Right.
Yeah, if I've contracted for something, I've included that in my forecast,
Of course.
right?
Exactly.
And if I've signed on the dotted line, it's definitely in my forecast. So now I'm operating and making decisions based upon my guaranteed forecast.
And that's why I love the fact that Tasha has been in the trenches, because
Yeah.
she knows what's going on. She's not been paid sometimes, so she understands
Oh,
that feeling.
wait, I was down to $175 and had
Oh my
payroll
Lord.
the next day. And I had
That's
a firm that was insistent on paper checks, and I said that won't work.
no.
Right. Yeah, we gotta, no. So for me, I take it as a personal insult when I don't get paid.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
like, wait a minute, and mainly because my business is focused on excellent customer service, right?
Yes,
I bend
yes.
over backwards to make
Yes.
sure I service that while you're
Yeah.
my client,
Yeah.
I am servicing you, making some adjustments in my own
Yeah.
with my own personal schedule and calendar so that I can make sure I give you the best the best of my best.
Yeah.
So when I invoice, your return is to pay me on time, because
it's
then
like
that tells me you appreciate what I just did. When I got to fight for my money and I got to call and beg and scream and threaten and do all that sort of stuff, you just told me my best of the best wasn't best.
it wasn't good enough.
That wasn't good enough.
See what they do, Crystal, and Tasha. This is what they do. They call us up because they know that we're all about quality and delivery and value, right? They know we're all about that. So they call us up and say, hey, I've got a 10-hour job that I want you to do in 2 hours for us because it's a deadline and we didn't plan properly. So now we're going to make that your problem so you can fix it for us, right? And then when we sacrifice ourselves, stay up long hours and do this stuff, and then submit our invoice, they go, oh, sorry, we can't pay you until the next 60 days or more. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Some of the best advice I ever received is sometimes you have to fire your client.
Exactly.
Yeah, I fired a number of clients. I tell you, I start taking it as a personal insult. And if I start taking it as a personal insult, I am no longer a good supplier for you.
I just fired one a few days ago.
Like, I'm sorry. I remember Nolan Rollins, who was the former president of the Urban League, when the very first thing out of his mouth when he was speaking, he said, make no mistake, you're in business to make money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Bottom line. All that other frivolous, all that other frills and bling and blang means nothing if money's not on the other side of that opportunity.
That's right.
And that needs to be known in the public agencies too, because you are a public servant to serve the public good. This is not your personal money that you're holding on to. This is not, you got to have that mindset of you are serving as well. So that's one thing that all of us have to understand together.
Right. So I'm with Gilbert. You having, and I think that sometimes is the problem. If you have not run a business yourself, you have no idea what we go through in order to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
You work for corporate America, the check is gonna come every 10 days. Even if the company is having funding problems or capital problems, you, the employee, will not know it until you're about to get your pink slip. That's because all of the closed door meetings, when they start having closed door meetings, that's when they got problems. And I've always worked in the accounting, the finance department, and I made that decision when in 2008 with in the 90s when we had that recession. At that point, I said, I need to be in a recession-proof industry. That recession-proof industry is the accounting department. And on top of that, I get firsthand knowledge when the company got problems because I'm looking at the books. So then I know how to prepare and get me ready.
Smart.
You know what I'm wondering though, Tasha, because this keeps resonating in my mind. I keep thinking about what you said, that you only had $175 in your bank account and payroll was the next day.
That's right.
How were you able to do that?
First of all, I prayed. Second of all, I just asked for an exception for my prime. I was smart enough to get in the same bank as my prime. That was one, because it makes an electronic so the signing of the check could have happened, but the owner of the company was out of the country. Okay, add that to my issue.
Wow.
And then I just said, listen, I just pleaded with them. I said, I cannot. I have to have this money. I think this was right before my bank gave me the $30,000 line of credit.
Wow.
And I had to make the payroll. And so they said, this one time, they will do an electronic transfer.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Oh, yeah. You're going to say, okay. So, yeah, sure. I'll do whatever.
I would love it if you did it all the time, but that was the only time.
Wow.
They did
but see, you were so close, though, Tasha, because you could have been fined by the state for not paying your workers because you can't owe employees. You got to pay them. So they could fine you and they could arrest you as well. So you've been there. You've been there.
Oh, yeah. That was a very stressful day, but it turned out well.
Right.
And I also have asked my prime to advance the invoices. So I've done a couple of those. One of the big international companies charged me 3%.
Yeah, they do that. They do that. And they love to do it.
Oh,
they love to do it.
That's terrible.
Yeah. I was telling someone, I think it was Crystal, I was telling this. Edison used to do that because I was a consultant for them too. So I used to do training, and I traveled through the whole state of California, going to different cities like Fresno, the whole central California over there, where it's like Pearland and shipping ports and all of that. I travel to teach these classes for them. Then they're saying, well, we can only pay you in 60 days. I'm going, what? I have to come up with airfare. I have to come up with rent a car money and all of that just to go teach these workshops. And you're telling me you can't pay me? Wow. And they say, oh, well, we can pay you, but we got to take a 2% discount off your invoice. I'm going, what? Unbelievable, man.
And those are all of the things those are those barriers to entry.
It is.
Those are barriers to entry.
Yeah.
Tasha, it has been awesome. Great conversation. As I said,
having me.
We want to have you back. We got to have you back.
Yeah, as you go through this, and I don't know anyone else that you can think of that you think would be a great addition and for this pledge. Let us know. Gilbert and I are, like I said, we coach for the community.
Yeah.
And so there's a number of them. I know PCR. I don't know if you know Colette Moore. She's over at Pacific Coast Regional Center. They also help get businesses contracted and have a number of businesses. And again, that's that they have the capital. Right. So they provide loans and things like that. So that could, that way. Again, everyone is focused on making sure that these businesses are contract ready so that the excuse is not, oh, they are never ready anyway.
Yeah.
We will eliminate that because even for what you're doing, they have to be ready. You can't put them in
Crystal, maybe we should also connect her with Vermont Slauson because we both teach classes over there. We help her prepare those contractors. And you did mention, I think, Tasha, I think you did mention the National Association of Minority Contractors. Did you? Okay. Yes. So those guys, I've taught classes for them too, but those guys would be good candidates to be in this program. So maybe we can bring them on as well, because the reason I would like to bring them in because many of their contractors are 5 years and beyond. They've been in the industry for a while. They understand. They just need to get organized and be trained and coached, to deliver and be in compliance. They just need that part. So that's the part that Crystal and we can help to do for you. So we have this pool of qualified businesses.
Well, I look forward to connecting with you again.
Oh, yes, for sure. Yes, we can't wait to count down the minutes for you to come back. We love what you're saying, man. And anything we can do, Tasha, to help you, because I know you can't do this by yourself. I know you got a small team and, the team, they're doing the best they can. But any type of external resources that you could have to help you out to meet your goal and your mission, oh, man. That would be phenomenal.
All right.
Okay.
Now you see why your kids are such great entrepreneurs, right? They got it from you.
I trying to push them along.
They
Yeah.
got it from you, man.
I told Denise, I said, now Denise, I said, last time you came to the park, everybody wanted your lemon bars and you ran out. So don't run out because they all waiting for you, girl. She was like, oh no. And she told me that the mishap that was taking place
Oh, she
last night.
told you?
Yeah. So I told her, I said, so Denise, go home and take a nap.
We were tired.
So I told her, go home and take a nap so you be rested when mommy come home. So you get the bacon, girl. Get the bacon.
That's right.
But
Well,
Tasha, it's been
Crystal,
awesome.
Crystal, you do have Tasha's contact info, her phone
I
number, and
do. I
everything, right?
do.
Okay,
So
so
thank you so much.
Tasha, we'll reach out to you probably next week and try to see what we can talk about and help you out, man.
That'd be
'cause
great.
we want you to win. We want you to
Awesome.
No,
Likewise.
I think this is an awesome,
Oh
and
yeah, this
especially
is great.
with where the country is today and
Yeah.
eliminating. I don't know. I guess it's almost like they think they can blink an eye and everything just disappears. All these minority people just will
Yeah,
go away.
it's not gonna happen. But see, even that though, even that, the results or the effects of affirmative act is going to benefit them too. It's going to benefit them in a large way. So I don't understand why.
Market GDP.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes no sense, but who knows? Those questions that make you go,
Mm.
But Tasha, has been awesome. This is show is obviously running and on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube,
Live.
so live on all those platforms, so you can share it with your friends and colleagues. And I'm actually going to, after we get off, I'm going to schedule it to run again next week.
Yes,
All right.
definitely.
So you can send some people there,
Yes.
and let us know whatever we need to do. And I will, if those entities of interest to you, I can give you their contact information and make an
Yes.
introduction for you.
All right.
And Crystal, the guy that she was thinking of at Edison is the Native American guy. What's his name?
Oh,
Crystal.
Dennis Thurston.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, Dennis Thurston.
That's the one, right, Tasha? That's the one you're talking about.
No, I think it's another guy. It's
Oh, no.
it's his boss.
Oh, okay.
It's his boss. I met him at the Edison dinner.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, I can pull it up, but yeah, you can keep going.
Edison dinner. And you guys need to get some invites to some of those dinners that they have, because that's where everybody's conjugated.
Yeah.
Starting next year, March, I think it starts with somebody's dinner. Glack is it Glack's in the
Black has a dinner.
Yeah, Glack had all of them have dinners actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the small businesses that your organization might be interested in, how long should they have been in business? Like 5 years, 7 years, and beyond, or what kind of time frame you're looking at? Because you want someone who can perform the job well. You don't want someone who's just starting up who doesn't know certain things.
Of course. And it depends on the contract. It'll say in the contract, must prove 3 years, 5 years doing similar type of work.
Yeah.
But we have a small business program. The certification for our program is easy.
Easy, right?
Yeah, it's really a simple program. So you can go to polb.com/SBE and talk to our SBE program director and get certified relatively quickly. You can register on our Planet Bids website, which is different from, there's lots of Planet Bids. So you have to make sure it says Port of Long Beach at the top.
That's true.
And then we use the NIGP codes, the commodity codes, as opposed to the NAICS codes.
Yeah.
So you have to know what your code is, and then you'll receive all of our procurement information so that you can actually read the level of experience.
So I think I'm going to certify in this database you just gave me, the sbe.
Please.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm on all of my small businesses, I'm going to drive them that way too, get them
Please.
certified in that system. So you can have a
Yay.
big pool of qualified small businesses.
Great.
Because the certification process is easy. So
It is. It's
yeah.
very easy. And
Yeah.
we are so excited. We on our projects, and I know we're closing out. I'm just gonna one last thing.
No, take your time. You can stay here all night, man. I'm loving what I'm hearing.
Well, we set a goal, an agency goal of 27% small business participation on our contracts, and everything over, say, $100,000, and so that includes the $2.3 billion program that I'm managing, right? So all of our projects. Each solicitation we let out, we may adjust that goal based on the pool that's available. So if we knew your business was out there, it would show up as part of our pool. So it would increase the participation goal. This year, I think 2021 numbers that we just found out, we are pushing 48%. So we set a goal of 28%. We're pushing at 48% participation by our small business community. So we are thrilled that that's the case.
I love that.
Yeah, at least we're paying them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're still working on the prime, making sure that they can contract with us, but the utilization, we're actually getting them paid. So very pleased.
I'm definitely gonna, after this call is over, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna certify my business. And we've got a viewer here, Miss Pat Langford. Pat, I want you to go to the site as well, and I want you to certify. Pat just got certified with the County of Los Angeles.
Oh, then this is easy.
Yeah, she's been one of my clients for the longest time. So Pat, you're gonna go to the Port of Long Beach. I'm gonna give you the info right here. I'm gonna put it in the chat, Pat. I want you to go there today and certify, okay?
You'll be able to do that real easy.
Yes.
All righty.
Yes.
Look at that. Things are happening.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Awesome.
Pat, there's a link, Pat. Go ahead, and I want you to get certified today. Send me a copy. Send me proof of it that you did certify. Okay.
Accountability there.
All right. That's why we're coaches. And we make sure there's accountability. But awesome. Been wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And so until the next time, it's Give Us Eddie, and want to have you back. And as you guys have continued to grow, and then we'll make those connections for you and see if we can get them involved and to take the pledge as well.
All right. Thank you all.
You're going to see a big increase in your database certification, man. I'm going to be sending people there like crazy.
Awesome. That's fine. Mark this day.
Take care, Tasha. Appreciate you coming on.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All righty.
Oh,
good.
This was great, co-host. I love it.
I thought you would like it.
Love it,
she was speaking your language.
Oh, for sure. Man, that diversity and inclusion program. Oh man, we got to get in that, Crystal. We got to get involved, because I'm telling you, from the accounting standpoint, many of these businesses, they need the coaching and the guidance from you. They need the infrastructure, back office certification, and the compliance part from me. And if we can do that, man, she's gonna look good. And that's what I want.
That's awesome. So, guys, this has been our great show today. And going over to our YouTube channel, you are tuned into the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. Go over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this show, please, by all means, hit the like button. And you will find us here every Friday afternoon at 3:00 with bells on, waiting to enlighten, inspire, and empower you as a small business owner. So we love what we do, and you will benefit from it. Go to our YouTube channel. There are over 700 videos there that can help every aspect of your business. If you're just launching your business, to those of you that are scaling and going to that next level, there is content there for you. So take a picture, scan the QR code, or just go over to the Business Zone on YouTube and hit that subscribe button and like button. And we're going to tune out, and we're going to see you guys. Let me make sure I get our make sure our we end with our name. And we're gonna see you next week on the Business Zone,
Oh,
right
you got
there.
it. You got it there. Do you have the
Wait,
name
let me,
there?
yeah, let me take this off and let me make sure that our name is the Business Zone. There we
And,
go.
and again, folks, while my co-host is working on the title there, just remember that the Business Zone is on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. We bring in a special guest. It could be you. So if you want to come in, talk about your business, or you represent a contract provider, or you represent a prime contractor, and you want to share your information on the air live so it can broadcast all throughout the world, then please contact us and let us know. You can reach me at 888-882-1168. That's 888-882-1168. That is Coach Gilbert Buchanan. And co-host, you want to put your number in there as well?
Yeah, so my number was, I can't even get to let me find the chat thing here. Oh, there we go. Yes, my contact information is Mitchell, and my email, 544 at gmail.com, and 323 447-7272. So we look forward to hearing from you guys. Send us a note, send us a chat, send us a text. Text better for me than phone calling. But all right, Gilbert, we ready to
our
show?
We're ready to step out, guys. So we'll see you again next week at 3 o'clock on a Friday. We're out.
Have a great weekend. Stay cool and hydrated.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes I'm a